Good evening, everyone. I want to take this moment to welcome you to the 11th Annual Utica College Pioneer Hall of Fame Induction Ceremony and Senior Student Athlete Recognition. I'm Jason Paulus, news anchor at WKTV, News Channel 2 in Utica, and it's my privilege to once again this year be your Master of Ceremonies tonight. We're joined this evening by several distinguished guests. So when I call your name, would the previous Pioneer Hall of Fame inductees who are with us this evening please stand and be recognized. First up, DJ Karstensen, Pioneer Hall of Fame, class of 2009. There he is, he's walking right over there. Justin Seashon, class of 2013. Dave Owen, class of 2015. There he is. And last but certainly not least, Jim Doc Spartano, class of 2012. Welcome back, Doc. Tonight we gather to celebrate and enshrine 3 individuals and 1 team for their unique backgrounds, talents, and accomplishments, as well as for their shared commitment to the spirit and values of athletic competition here at Utica College. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce a gentleman who embraces and promotes these values every single day here, Athletic Director Dave Fontaine.
Thank you, Jason. Again, on behalf of the Utica College Athletic Department, I'd like to welcome everyone to the 11th Annual Utica College Hall of Fame and Senior Student Athlete Recognition. An event like this always comes with many thanks to several different people and some recognitions as well. So, to the Board of Trustees in attendance, to President Casamento, our senior leadership team, members of the Utica College Athletic Association and past Hall of Fame inductees, thank you for your continued support to Utica College Athletics. A special thanks to our presenting sponsors, Adirondack Bank, BSN Sports, and Dupli Envelopes and Graphics. As you can imagine, the landscape of Division III athletics is changing, and without the support of the people I had mentioned and others, doing things like this and enhancing our student-athlete experience is not possible, so we thank you very much. I'd also like to thank our Office of Sports Information, the Office of Marketing and Advancement, Sodexo, our food servers, Facilities, and IITS for making this event a success and transforming the Athletic Center into a beautiful banquet hall. And of course, I want to recognize our coaches and athletic trainers here in attendance for your leadership and guidance and recruiting many of these young people in this room, for taking care of our student athletes throughout the year. We definitely appreciate all that you do and the countless hours that you put in. Congratulations to the Hall of Fame class of 2018. Shelby, Mick, the 2005-2006 men's basketball team, your accomplishments and contributions to Utica College athletics are truly impressive and inspirational. To former President Todd Hutton, without your vision and willingness to invest in the student-athlete experience, we would not have the team, facilities, or the several hundred student-athletes you see here tonight. Thank you for seeing what no one could have imagined. You have all earned the highest honor Utica College athletics can bestow on an athlete and an administrator. You are a true example of what it means to be a pioneer, and we look forward to hearing from you shortly up here at the podium. To the senior student athletes, your families and guests, thank you for your hard work, dedication, support, and commitment to Utica College and our athletic programs. Please know that you are leaving Utica College a better place than when you first arrived on campus. As you begin the next chapter of your life, remember this, that you will always be a pioneer, you will always be welcomed here at Utica College, and we will not forget you. At this time, I'd just like to review some of our accomplishments, some of your accomplishments of the past year, and I'll move this along as quickly as possible. I know we have a good program to get to here. I'll start with our fall sports. This past fall, our women's cross-country team became Empire 8 championships. They were led by freshman runner Jessica Ostrowski, who was named Empire 8 Rookie of the Year. junior Caitlin Stinson, who was named Empire 8 Runner of the Year, and our cross-country coaching staff that was named Empire 8 Coaching Staff of the Year. Our field hockey team qualified for the Empire 8 tournament and advanced to the finals for the championship game. Our women's ice hockey team qualified for postseason play for the 16th time in 17 seasons. Our men's ice hockey team won the United Collegiate Hockey Conference Championship, the first conference championship in program history. They were led by All-Americans, first-team All-Americans, Dalton Carner and Roman Amaretto, and Roman was also the UCHC Player of the Year. The men's basketball team qualified for the Empire 8 basketball tournament and advanced to the championship game in dramatic fashion, if anybody was following it online, with a last-minute shot. They were led by senior Ivan Aitan, who was named Empire 8 Defensive Player of the Year and who also eclipsed 1,000 points for his career this past season. Senior women's basketball players Ashley Mayo and Ashlyn Babb also eclipsed 1,000 career points this year. Senior swimmer Phoebe King was named Empire 8 champion in the 200-meter freestyle. Our track and field's Keanu Hedrum qualified for the NCAA's in indoor shot put. Freshman Josh Keynes was named Empire 8 Rookie of the Year in men's golf. 3 UC student athletes scored their 100th career goal on the same day this spring. Men's lacrosse senior Ryan DeVoe, women's lacrosse senior Brooke Miller, and women's water polo senior Krista Rayrig each scored their 100th goal on April 14th. And this past spring, coming up here, our women's lacrosse team as well as our softball team have qualified for the Empire 8 tournament and will be playing this weekend for a championship. You know, our student athletes have accomplished all that by achieving a team GPA of 3.0 with 22 student athletes with a 4.0 or better. And for the 3rd consecutive year, a student athlete or former student athlete has been named valedictorian or salutatorian. And this year, former softball player Rachel Baker was co-valedictorian, and men's hockey player Brett Zahner was named salutatorian. Congratulations. Your accomplishments are truly inspirational. I hope they continue, and I'm confident they will continue as you begin your careers. Now, when I first stepped up here, I mentioned that UC student athletes, you'll always be pioneers and you'll always be remembered. And before we move the program on and before I hand the mic back to Jason, I'd like for you to join me and turn your attention to the video screen as we remember pioneer men's lacrosse player Ben Winkler from the class of 2013, who passed away unexpectedly in January.
Barron leads it across to number 5, Adam Zelensky. Zelensky gets around his defender. Zelensky pushes it behind to Shane. Shane to Winkler. Winkler with the shot. He scores! Ben Winkler takes the Pioneers to the Empire 8 Conference Tournament for the first time in school history. Mr. Overtime, Ben Winkler does it again for the 2nd time this year. Oh my! An unbelievable finish here at Charles Gaetano Stadium.
No better way to go out than with your 2 seniors, Edelstein and Winkler.
If you could join me in just a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Again, thank you for all of your support. Thanks to the student athletes for making all of us, the coaches, the administrators, look pretty good. And we're so happy for you. We look forward to your graduation on Sunday or your continued education here at Utica College if some of you are pursuing doctorates. And please join us at the Pioneer Cafe at the end of this as well for a couple of cocktails and some good conversations. So thanks again and congratulations.
Thank you, Dave. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please direct your attention to the video screens for comments from former men's basketball student athlete Jack Lighthall as he helps to introduce the 2005-2006 Utica College men's basketball team. Following the video, the men's basketball team will join us here on stage for remarks from former Pioneer Willie Lucas.
I'm Jack Lighthall. I was a junior on the 2005-2006 men's basketball team that made it to the Sweet 16. Some of the qualities that we had as a team were we had a sense of purpose. You know, it started with, you know, obviously the coach, commitment from the coaching staff all the way down to, you know, the first guy on the team to the last guy on the team. Everyone had to have that commitment. We were very interchangeable on offense and defense, you know. Princeton basketball used to run the flex offense, and we kind of ran something similar to that. And it was called balance. You know, it was a lot of screens. We basically waited for an opportunity on offense for a mismatch. One more quality that we had is if you ever heard of the term PhD, we were poor, hungry, and driven. And we had a lot of guys that were gritty guys on this team and just came to work every day and put that effort in. And obviously it shows that, you know, we made the run to the Sweet 16. Coach Goodmoe really helped us find our identity through the season. And we had, you know, 3 guys that transferred in, you know, and Dennis Munch, Ray Bryant, and Sean Brown, guys coming in that were great players. And, you know, early on in the season, we start out, we have a week on Saturday game, we go out to Rochester, we lose the RIT, come back, prepare for the next weekend. We take care of Elmira on a Friday, lose to, you know, it's a really tough Fisher team on Saturday. And so now we've dropped 2 out of 3, you know, thinking, okay, we got a quick turnaround. We got Oswego on Tuesday. We go out to Oswego and we lose. So now we've lost 3 out of 4, and you know it's a real quiet bus ride home. And we get back in the locker room and we have a players-only meeting till approximately 3 o'clock in the morning. Just, you know, open floor, hash things out. You know, guys trying to, you know, let's really define our identity on this team. You know, what's my role? What's your role? And you know, it was just guys were really receptive, and you know, that was kind of, you know, the turning point for us to make the run that we did and making it to the conference finals, and then obviously getting the number 2 at-large bid in the NCAA tournament. Our 2006 men's basketball team recorded the program's best 23-7 record and made the first NCAA appearance in program history. In that year, we were able to make it to the Sweet 16 after winning our first 2 games. You know, the first game we beat Gordon College, and then we beat Worcester Polytech. We ended the season at, you know, having the 3rd toughest schedule in the entire country, and that propelled us to getting the 2nd at-large bid out of 33 at-large bids into the NCAA tournament. On this team, we had 3,000-point scorers. You had Justin Cechon, Willie Lucas, and Doug Herring. Not to mention, we had an All-American and Ray Bryant on this team, so we were filled with, you know, the skill and talent. It is my honor to induct the 2006 men's basketball team into the Pioneer Hall of Fame.
Good evening, everyone. First, I want to say this is a great day, and I couldn't be more happy than to have a great set of guys behind me. Just a little bit about the 05-06 season. I pretty much knew from the first day of condition that we had the opportunity to do something very special. You know, guys were just fully engaged, and the pickup games were extremely competitive. And I knew that if everyone made the necessary sacrifices, that we could do something really special. And because, like Jack said, we had a lot of talented guys. So it would be extremely important for us to make those sacrifices and to control the egos. And I feel guys like B. Collier did a good job of keeping guys humble. You know, there'll be times you have a good game and you go to check the stat sheet. You know, you start feeling good about yourself. You go to walk away with your chest all pumped up. And BC will remind you about the 5 turnovers you had and the 6 free throws that you may have missed. So, you know, I just want to thank BC for that, keeping guys humble. And also I'd like to acknowledge Coach Goody, who was an extremely hard worker. You know, there'll be times we'll leave an away game, we get back to campus after midnight, we're rushing to get out of there, and he's rushing to get us out of there so he could review film. So that's something that I really appreciate about Coach Goody. And he always kept us, made sure we were nice and prepared. His scout reports were legendary. It'd be so detailed that we could literally walk up to our opponent and tell him what color undergarments he had on that day. So Coach did a great job of that. And I just want to say, I love you guys, and thanks for making my senior season a successful one, historical one at that. And thank you everyone that's here today, and congratulations to everyone that's been inducted today. And pretty much that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Congratulations, guys. At this time, could we please have Utica College women's lacrosse head coach Kristen St. Hilaire join me on stage to help present our second inductee.
My name is Kristen St. Hilaire. I am the head women's lacrosse coach here at Utica College. I had the honor and privilege of coaching Shelby Barbe for her 4 years here at UC. Shelby is probably the most hardworking kid I've ever coached. She was in ROTC while she was a student athlete here, so she was up at 5 a.m. running around campus with a sandbag over her shoulder. She came to practice ready to go. I never heard a complaint out of her once in 4 years. I don't know how she had time in her day with all that she put on her plate. The other great thing about Shelby is she had such a passion for the game. Anyone that came to watch her game was just, you were drawn to her. Even when the action wasn't down in her end, she was banging her stick against the pipes, she's jumping up and down, she's yelling at her defense, getting the crowd going. She just was such a thrill to watch, and that really all stemmed from her love of the game. One of the great things about Shelby is typically as a goalie, it's not the fastest kid out on the field, but that was not the case when Shelby played for us. She was one of our fastest athletes, if not the fastest kid on our team for 4 years, and she liked to prove it. She would line up at the end of practice and challenge our middies, who are typically your fastest kids on the team, and she'd beat them. She'd challenge them to a race and she would beat them. I got to a point she would challenge the coaches. She'd beat us as well. It was one of those things where Shelby's just really good at everything that she did. I used to joke around with her saying that, I was going to find something that she was bad at, chess, checkers, darts, something, and I have yet to find that thing. I really got to watch Shelby mature, going from the recruiting process to graduating as a senior. It went from her texting me 4 times a day during the summer, that she was being recruited, to, being independent and, after graduation, moving to Alaska and sleeping on a floor when it was, negative 15-degree temperatures. So she really grew tremendously, not only as an athlete in her time here, but certainly as a person. And I loved being a part of that and watching it. It was something very special. Shelby was a 2-time Empire 8 Goalie of the Year selection and a 3-time All-Conference selection. She was a 2-time All-Region selection and was also named captain for 2 seasons. Shelby is undoubtedly the top goalie in the history of our program. She's also one of the most decorated goalies in the history of the Empire 8 Conference. So in addition to being a leader on the lacrosse field and one of our best players, Shelby also ranked in the top 10% in the nation for ROTC. Shelby was named the 2012 Dick Miller Award winner, given to the top senior athlete. So when I called Shelby to congratulate her on being inducted in the Hall of Fame, the first thing she said to me was, "Coach, did you do this?" And I said, "No, Shelby, you did." But that was the great thing about Shelby. She never wanted to take credit for anything that she did. She always was first to rise up her teammates. She always was first to congratulate somebody else. But she didn't do it for the glory. She didn't do it for the awards. She did it because she loved this program. And she was a passionate, hardworking player that really put her team first. It is my honor to induct Shelby Barbe into the Pioneer Hall of Fame.
Wow. Thank you, Coach. That was an amazing introduction. Makes me sound way cooler than I actually am. So, first of all, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am so incredibly honored to be inducted to the Utica College Hall of Fame. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the women I played alongside of from 2008 to 2012. Without you ladies, this would have never been a possibility. I'd also like to say thank you to a few people, Coach Andy Lee, my high school coach, First Sergeant retired Ken Alcorn, who was the first sergeant here at the RTC program, and many others, to include my mom, my big brothers who are here today, my big sister as well is here today, and the rest of my loving family. Also, congratulations to my fellow inductees. You guys are awesome. I'm just floored to be here with you guys tonight, so thank you. Now, when I was in the Army, they always taught me to be brief, be brilliant, and be gone, so I'm doing my best to do those three things for you guys. There are two people I'd like to thank, especially tonight. The first being Coach Saint, of course. Coach, you were and you still are a role model to me, truly. You helped me through a rough time in college when I didn't feel like the strong and confident woman that I strived to be. And so much of my leadership and my attitude towards perseverance, I owe to you, Coach. And you mentioned before, you took this insecure 17-year-old texting you all the time saying like, well, when does season start? When can I get there? How do we work out this financial aid stuff? You took that 17-year-old, insecure 17-year-old, and you made me into a successful 21-year-old ready to lead the United States Army. And so for that, I thank you. Words cannot do enough. The next person I'd like to thank is my father. And I can't look at him because I'll cry. Joseph Boris Barbe. I was 10 or 11 years old with a bowl haircut and hand-me-down clothes from my big brothers when I first started playing lacrosse. My dad was my coach, and I knew my dad, my big sister, and a couple of my cousins played, and so I thought like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. Why don't I try that? So I did. So I played on the boys' team, like I said, with my dad as my coach, and honestly, I didn't really love it at first. It wasn't until I became a goalie a couple years later that I learned to love the game. I love the fast pace. I love the independence and reliance of being a goalie. I love my defenders, and I love the idea of being a leader on the field. But most of all, I love that my dad got me a Snickers bar before every game, guaranteed. Not only did my dad give me a Snickers bar before every game, but he also drove 20 minutes one direction to pick me up before every practice and every game, and also to work out 3 times a week. When I moved on to play women's lacrosse later on, I was about 8th grade, he then drove to every game, home or away, and that was for a few years, and then 4 years throughout high school did the same thing. He was there for every game, and then again, 4 years throughout college, my dad was there for every game. My dad has spent almost 12 years of his life coaching, attending, or supporting my lacrosse career. Keep in mind, I've played in Elmira, and Utica, and Oswego, Rochester, Ithaca. It didn't matter. I've played as far as New Jersey and Maryland, and wherever I was, it was rain, sleet, sun, shine, indoor, outdoor, near or far. My dad, he was there. He was always there. And you want to know how I knew he was always there? It was because he was one of very few voices I could hear through a thick helmet and an even thicker skull. So, it did help that he was also the loudest. He's a loud guy. And he was known for that. All my teammates knew when my dad showed up, they're like, oh, Shelby, your dad's here. Like, yeah, I know, I can hear him too. But it was never in a negative way. Dad was the most positive and reassuring person there, and I can't thank him enough. In closing, this honor I am so grateful and happy to receive. It must be shared with my father. This success is because of him and the lessons he's instilled in me. And with that being said, Dad, I know you have a shattered heel and you're all laid up right now, but if you could please stand up so I can applaud you. Dad, I love you, and thank you for always making me feel like I could conquer the world. Thank you.
At this time, could we please have Utica College men's lacrosse head coach Mike Parnell join me on stage to help present our third inductee.
My name is Mike Parnell. I'm the head lacrosse coach at Utica College, and I coached Mick for 4 years. Mick was one of the hardest working players I've ever had the ability to coach. He had a dedication to making himself better, was a great leader of men, and he was just an alpha. He wanted to be out there, he wanted to be the man, and motivated others to become, the best players they could be. The skills that I saw Mick develop over his time here were two. One, his flexibility, and two, become a leader. And we would watch videos. Number one was Ray Lewis and how to lead men. And then, like I said, number two was his flexibility. He couldn't touch his toes when he first got here as a player. And then I said, you want to be an All-American, you got to lose a little bit of weight and be able to touch your toes. So we took yoga class, and that's how he ultimately become an All-American, being more flexible. Another part of his flexibility is Mick was a tough guy. And to a lot of tough guys, every problem, he's a hammer, and every problem looks like a nail. And I told him, hey, you can't always, not every problem is a nail, to be more flexible in your leadership decisions. The thing people need to know about Mick is that when he was on the field, you want to equate him to a great white shark. He was always in hunt mode. He was going to chase you down and take the ball away. With Mick on the field, it made it very easy to play defense. Everyone would shut their guy off, and we would send Mick after the ball, and he would get the ball. It was plain and simple, cut and dry. That's what he did. He was a takeaway artist. He had 211 caused turnovers, which is an amazing feat for any level, and he made it look effortless. And when he was doing it, he was also going to let you know it was going to happen too, so he had a little bit of swagger to him. Mick was the program's first All-American. He was also a 3-time All-Conference first-team selection in the Empire 8. He was named to the 2012 ECAC All-Star team. He was also a 2-time captain, which hasn't been done a lot in program history. He also leads the program in caused turnovers with 211, which is also an amazing accomplishment. And he also ranks 5th all-time in ground balls with 233. Another one of Mick's accomplishments was making it to the North-South game, which is an all-star game for the seniors. You have to be selected to it. Mick's reputation preceded him when he was down there. Everyone knew of his accomplishments and what a takeaway artist he was. So during the game, he was calling out first-team All-Americans, and no one would dodge him. They didn't want to go against him. And he would get onto the field, and he would call another guy out, and they wouldn't dodge him. And they wouldn't dodge him because they didn't want to get embarrassed in an all-star game. And it's an amazing accomplishment. We've only had 2 other players selected to the North-South team. And so for Mick to do that and go down there with his accolades and his reputation was an amazing, amazing thing. It is my honor to induct Mick Krajcic to the Pioneer Hall of Fame.
Well, thanks, Coach, for making a comment about my weight. I thought I looked good at my 4 years. Thank you. All right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming out tonight. I would like to start by congratulating Shelby, President Hutton, and the men's basketball team. This is such a great honor for myself and the men's lacrosse program. There are a lot of people who believed in me and helped me get me to this point. Some of the people I'd like to recognize tonight: Coach Parnell and his staff, my parents, my players, and Coach Oliver. Coach Parnell and I had a great player-coach relationship throughout my career. When I look back on my 4 years, we had accomplished a lot on the field together, and he allowed me the opportunity to play early and often. He stressed to me in my recruiting process, but one of the things Coach did for me, it wasn't on the field, it was off the field. Coach stressed to me in the recruiting process that he wanted me to walk across the stage in 4 years and that the lacrosse part would take care of itself. I can remember the first week of classes, Coach wanted us to do an academic review at the end of the week, talk about our classes, see where the semester was going to take us. When I went down for my academic review, I brought my first ever college paper. Our meeting began with one of our assistants reading through the paper. Nick was making his corrections through the paper. Coach Parnell was asking me how my week was going, where I saw the semester going. At the end, Coach wanted to read the paper himself. And I'll never forget this. Coach took the paper. He might have gotten through the introduction, and he looked at me with this very puzzled face, looked back at the roster, looked at me, took his pen out, circled my name, handed it back to me. I accidentally had a typo, and I put an extra letter in my name. And you know, that day he would never let that down. So, you know, I couldn't hand in a college paper in my 4 years here without hitting his desk first, and I'm truly grateful for Coach taking the time to make sure I got it done in the classroom first. Another coach I'd like to recognize here tonight is Coach Oliver. Coach Oliver really spent a lot of time with me. You know, he built our youth program at CNS and had our group since elementary school. I didn't join that group until 7th grade, you know, where I began to play my lacrosse career. Coach saw the potential in myself, and I didn't know where this game could take me, but he saw something in me that I didn't see yet. He constantly challenged me early on, and I didn't understand why Coach was so hard on me. It's because he had a vision for myself and this team, and I just didn't have it, and I couldn't see it yet. You know, he always stressed to me the fundamentals early in my career, and I just didn't know how to handle that, and I would always challenge him or give him an excuse why that wouldn't work well for my game. It didn't really set in until I got onto campus, and I called him after one of our fall ball tournaments. I didn't play well, Coach wasn't at the game, but I told him where I was struggling on the field, and he walked me right through what I was doing wrong. He brought up all those conversations we had throughout high school about fundamentals and just being yourself and let the game come to you. It wasn't until then where the light bulb went off for me, and Coach, excuse me, whew, Coach, you know, for that, I really want to thank you for taking my game to the next level and being patient with me through all those tough times. My parents, my sister, you guys really made this dream come true. You know, whether it was practices, recruiting trips, or tournaments on the weekends, you guys were always there to support me. I kid around with my father, who never missed a single game in my 4 years here besides one game. We had a game in Utica who's nationally ranked, and Dad called me and said, you know, Mick, I'm not going to be able to come down to this one, you know, good luck. And I told him I'd follow up with him after the game. Fortunately for us, we pulled off the major upset, and I probably had one of the best games of my career. I always kid with him, and I tell him, you know, if you would have just missed a few more games, we could add a few more W's on my resume. Now, for both my mother, my father, my sister, you guys believed in me, and I'm truly grateful for everything you've done for me. And lastly, my teammates. You guys that are here tonight, Dennis, Zach, Carbo, Sean Behan. You know, we didn't achieve the ultimate goal of an Empire 8 championship, but I had some of my best memories of my life with you guys here. Whether it was 6 a.m. practices, games, I'm honored to have played with you guys and call you guys my brothers. You know, unfortunately, a few months ago, we lost one of our brothers, Ben Winkler. For 3 years, Ben and I would go at it back and forth in practice, and without him challenging me every day, I wouldn't be up here tonight. You know, after I graduated, Ben and I lost contact, and we went our separate ways in our careers, and we would only really see each other at events like this or alumni functions. So for you seniors here tonight, I'd like to leave you with this. Appreciate the times you've had here with your UC teammates, and when you graduate and everyone goes their separate ways, sometimes the only thing you have left are those memories that you created and the reflections on the best times of your life. Thank you guys, have a great night. Ben.
And now for our final inductee. Could we please have former Athletic Director Jim Spartano and current Athletic Director Dave Fontaine on stage. And at this time, please direct your attention to the video screen for comments from Tom Clark as he helps introduce Dr. Todd Hutton.
Hi, I'm Tom Clark, an alumnus of the college, and I regret not being here tonight. It's the first one I've missed in many, many years, but a previous engagement prevented me from being here in person. And of course, we're talking about Todd Hutton, and I'm happy to present him for induction into the Pioneer Hall of Fame. Thinking about Todd, some of the things I'm going to say you may think are dramatic, but obviously I feel passionately about them in my heart, and that's why I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And I want to start off by giving you an overview of where he started 18 years ago. He was the first president actually hired by the independent board of trustees, and of course we weren't that forthcoming with Todd at the time, but the previous 2 years we had lost over $500,000. We had a $3 million endowment, and you can do the math. That was the school was in dire straits. Todd, in his inclusive way with the faculty and staff, brought new educational programs on that built the school. And he also brought a number of sports programs on. During his tenure, we went from 12 varsity sports to 26 varsity sports. 18 years later, the enrollment was doubled. The endowment was increased tenfold. And the college had a true identity. It truly became, in my mind, a true campus environment. The school is very close to me because it really transformed me back in the 60s to the person that I became. I had my doubts where Utica College was going when Todd came in, and you see where it is today. And I just felt that it was very, very important that because of the job he did, that there ought to be a legacy in tribute to both Todd and Jen. And it was kind of on my bucket list, and the naming of the Sports and Recreation Dome in their honor. I'm glad I had an opportunity to play a part in that while I was still alive and could see it, and while I could see him at that dedication. That meant a lot to me. It's just amazing how transformative the job that he did in this school to bring it where it is today. And I could make the case that no one had more of an effect on the college than Todd. So, I mean, when we talk about the Pioneer Sports Hall of Fame, I can't think of a better choice ever to enter the Sports Hall of Fame. So without further ado, I present to you my great friend, Dr. Todd Hutton, for induction into the Pioneer Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Please. Let me just say I'm very disappointed in Tom's presentation. President Casamento, that's another sport you can introduce. Men's and women's rugby is a great sport, folks. I'm truly humbled by this selection. I want to thank the selection committee and President Casamento for approving that, and for Tom for making this proposal. Also, congratulations to the 2005-06 basketball team. You guys were awesome then, you're awesome now. It was great following you and going to the postseason play, and I think we're going to see more teams, more than ever, at UC going on to postseason play. My challenge to the coaches out there is, folks, men and women, we need a national championship. We're due for a national championship. So that's my challenge to all of you out there. To Shelby and to Mick, you're outstanding representatives of UC. You're outstanding students and student athletes while you're here, and you represent us now so beautifully as alums. Your accomplishments are fantastic, both in life and as students here. I want to thank a few other people, because the people need to really share in the success of UC. Tom Clark we're in a building today that's named the Harold T. Clark Center. Tom set the legacy, he set the vision, he knew what the possibilities were of integrating athletics with academics. So we owe it to him because he set us on the course that I just simply picked up the ball and ran further with it. At my table, there are 2 of the 3 chairs who were part of my early days, and I want to recognize them. Larry Bull and Ron Coccaro, and their spouses Sheila and Corky. They were a part of the very beginnings of what happened over a 15-year or so period in adding both athletics and academics. Larry was the chair when I first came to him and said, hey, Larry, how about if we add football? And he must have gone home with his hair on fire when he had hair at that time. I know a few of the faculty. I'm looking at our provost, John Johnson. I'm sure his hair was on fire when I began suggesting football. And then I said, well, let's do field hockey, and then let's do men's and women's lacrosse. And I looked at Jim Spartano and I said, why not hockey? I've never seen it, but it looks like it's a good sport. So I want to thank them, and I want to thank Jim DeRoss. He couldn't be here tonight. He was the 3rd of the chairs of the board, and it was the 3 of them that had faith, along with the entire board of trustees, that had faith in the vision to add athletic programs along with, I don't know, 30 or 40 strong academic programs. They knew the value of integrating athletics and academics. And I want to recognize one other person, and that's our current chair of the board, Mark Pilipchuk. Mark became, his first year was my last year, and he made for a very nice transition for me. So I really want to thank Mark and recognize him. Success also belongs to several other people. One is sitting here at my table. He came up from Florida for this. His family's here. We're dear friends. It's AD Jim Spartano. If it had not been for Jim Spartano, probably adding sports would have been a failure. Because we all know the horror stories nationwide. We've seen them recently. There's been a negative sports culture at a lot of institutions, and it could have happened here if it had not been for the leadership of Jim Spartano. He believed in the spirit of D3 deeply. He believed in the integration of academics and athletics, and that's why we have in every coach's office, or I hope you still do, the 10 educational goals for athletics at Utica College. He believed in, as a supporter of Title IX, deeply. And he introduced that new philosophy, what I call the Title IX philosophy, and that is the 1 scoop, 2 scoop philosophy. As Jim used to say, if you have 2 sons or 2 daughters, you're not going to give one 1 scoop and the other 2 scoops. You're going to be fair. And Title IX mandated that, and he lived by it. And today, that imbues our athletic program with a deep commitment to Title IX. This was an age of scandals, as I mentioned, and there was never a hint of it. Jim Spartano was ethical, he was disciplined, detailed, anal compulsive, or at least compulsive. He hired extraordinary coaches, and that was an absolute key. Men and women who were dedicated to being not only good coaches, but mentors and teachers. He paid attention to detail, and as an AD, if you don't pay attention to detail, you find yourself in front of NC2A committees. He emphasized student participation. D3 is not about entertainment. It's about the participation for students and to expand that participation. Now, we were blessed that we added some sports that gained some notoriety and some fan base. It's nice that we're still #1 in the country in men's D3 hockey. I mean, that's great. But it's still about the student and student participation. He believed in fairness, he believed in openness, and he believed in honesty. So, Jim, thank you. Somebody else who was here at that time, and he helped write the first proposal, a business proposal, it was actually a classic business plan proposal, was A.D. Dave Fontaine. He was here right out of college, pretty much. He was here for 11 years, went off to work in the medical field, came back as AD, but he was instrumental in the business plans, the first business plans for football and field hockey and lacrosse. And he learned from Jim Spartano, and much of what Dave is today, he got from his dad. Our fathers died within a month of each other, from his dad and his mom, and from Jim Spartano, kind of his uncle, Spartano. So I want to thank Dave, because what we have today is the work of those two people. One other person who couldn't be with us tonight is Dean Rob Woods. And Dean was part of that core group that made it all happen. If it had not been for the three of them, it simply wouldn't have happened, let alone happen in an extraordinary way. Many of you out there, the men and women who are graduating now, don't know Dean Woods. He retired 6 or 7, 8 years ago. But you know him because many of you are recipients of the Dean Robert Woods Student Life Awards. So I congratulate you for being those award winners, and I thank Rob, who's living in Sarasota. I thank him for everything that he did. I want to thank one other person, and that's my spouse. My wife, I married a person. I was a sports guy in high school. I played rugby in college, and I married a woman that was at University of Michigan for 6 years, and for heaven's sake, never went to a single football game at the University of Michigan. She marries me and never guesses that she'll go to every sport every year, at least one competition in every sport every year, including, and you lacrosse people, I don't know how you do it, but practice in February and March around here, you're nuts. And she'd be out there next to me, freezing her tush off, watching lacrosse games. So, Jennifer, you were right there with me, and I want to thank you as well. And finally, my sincerest congratulations and thanks to all of the student athletes in the room. For your personal successes, congratulations. Your team successes, congratulations. Your off the field successes, your academic successes, your community service successes. Thank you for everything that you mean for this college and have done for UC. You embody the spirit of UC, and the one reason why we created athletics was to build that college spirit. And that builds over time, and it builds in significant ways. It quantum leaps ahead, and you are making that possible. And I want to congratulate you. You embody leadership. You embody teamwork. You are the future leaders, and some of you sitting out there now may very well be future leaders of Utica College as a member of the Board of Trustees. We're going to keep our eye on you, because we'll be watching for those of you that could become members of the Board of Trustees. You have been amazing ambassadors for UC. You are among our best ambassadors. I want to thank you for that, because you get the word out about UC. Just one little small anecdote, and I loved it. We were down in Ithaca for a competition. I forget which team it was, but we were walking on one of the streets in Ithaca. There were 3 or 4 of us. We had just had dinner, and in front of us were 3 or 4 Ithaca students. And we overheard them talking about Utica College. You know, and at that time, we were still a fledgling school in terms of athletics. Ithaca was the monster in the Empire 8 at that time. And they were saying, I wonder if we really need to fear these guys, you know, fear the moose. So I think we're proving to Ithaca, especially recently, that they sure as hell better fear the moose. So I look forward to following all of you in your careers. I'll be watching UC Facebook. I'll be reading the Alumni Magazine. I congratulate especially our seniors tonight. God bless you. I wish you all the best in your careers and in your life. And again, thank you very much for this wonderful honor. Jen? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined tonight by an extraordinary group of senior student athletes. From overcoming adversity to standing tall in both victory and defeat, they are a remarkable class of athletes, and even more, they are a remarkable class of people. We would like to take this opportunity tonight to recognize these men and women for their amazing and inspiring contributions to campus. As I call your name, would each coach and senior please come join me on stage to be recognized? And if you'll please hold your applause until the last name of each team is called, we would appreciate it. First, we're going to start with field hockey. Head coach Nikki Kiefer, Melissa Koch, Madison Williams, Jordan Noga, Gianna Cavalier, Abby Bird, Nicole Kamens, and Samantha Whitehouse. If I could ask the student athletes when you come up, please come up to my right. Next up, men's cross country, track and field. Head coach Eric Parker, Samuel Adarkwa, Brian Attis, Karsten Barbagaletta, Eric Winberg, Joe Topat, Sam Bonk, Eric Gleba, Carlton Woody, Nicodemus Gamble, Nicholas Proper, Alex Lucko, Pat Fitzgerald, Jude Manford, Thomas Rodano, and John Vega. Next up, women's cross country, track and field, head coach Eric Parker, McKenna Cooley, Katrina Scalzo, Lindsay Sicker, Anel Amy, Megan Doherty, and Jennifer Stimson. Men's soccer, head coach Brian Marcantonio, Matthew Milagrano, Ricky Drake, Austin Diller, Bita Gazashvili, and Diego Cueva. Women's soccer now. Head coach Eileen Blumenauer, Amanda Polakowski, Carrie Berkowitz, Jordan Miller, and unfortunately, senior Caitlin Hopkins could not be with us tonight, but please, let's give them all a round of applause. Football, head coach Blaise Fagiano. Chancellor Harris. Cameron White. Anthony Biera Anderson. Darrell Jones II. Eric Leindecker. Travis Flanagan. Jack Anton. Derek Sekretarski. Ryan Alphonse. Patrick Shea. Alfonso Whitehurst. Nick Yelich. And Nicodemus Gamble. Volleyball, head coach Eris Bird. Abigail Mosenthin. And unfortunately, senior Allison Della Pena could not be with us today, but she deserves a round of applause as well. Men's basketball, head coach Sean Coffey. Carl Taylor. Miles McNeil. Benito Iriza. Ivan Eton. TJ Davis. And unfortunately, senior Kristen Rodriguez could not be with us tonight. Congratulations, guys. Women's basketball, head coach Michelle Davis. Ashlyn Babb. Ashley Mayo. Elena Tripp. Emily Pinkney. Maggie Timone, and Amanda Henderson. How are you? I know.
How are you? Give me a quick hug. Good to see everyone.
Men's hockey, head coach Gary Heenan. Anthony McVeigh. Brett Zahner. Vince Stefan. Kevin Valenti. Dalton Carter. Mikhail Bushinsky. Kyle Lajeunesse. Henry Dill. And Roman Amaretto. Women's hockey, head coach Dave Clausen. Ronnie Lorty. Jennifer Arts. Megan Power. Kelly Kritzer. Carly Smith. Taylor Osowski. Samantha Hussack. Emily Holzhauser. And Amanda Lupo. Wow, that was the fastest group yet. Give him a second since he's next. Women's golf, head coaches Dave Clausen and Brian Marcantonio. Samantha Husak and Amanda Lupo. They deserve another round of applause. You didn't know you were going to be doing laps, right? Men's swim and dive, head coach Aaron Knight. Daniel Ngadi and Aaron Gidrian and Dean Schreider. Women's swim and dive and women's water polo. Head coach Aaron Knight. Phoebe King. Katie Skip. Krista Rayrig. Domenica Riscucci. Megan Stanton. And unfortunately, senior Grace Galentine could not be here with us tonight. Men's lacrosse, head coach Mike Parnell. Anthony Thomas, Ryan DeVoe, Patrick Dixon, Justin Pataki, Jake Braytek, and Nick Yelich. Women's lacrosse, head coach Kristen St. Hilaire. Amanda Lupo, Brooke Miller, and Rebecca Loaiza. Softball, head coach Pat Minio. Dominique Soto, Sabrina Stransky, Kimberly Beatty, and Samantha Whitehouse. Congratulations. Baseball, head coach Joe Milazzo. He's going to work the room. Brett Sarnowski, Gavin McCann, Colby Gliona, Tom Kerrigan, Ben Julian, John Franchi, Alex Rochi, Adam Nell, Eric Sahagan, Ryan Keefe, Jake Ryan, Justin Shabman, and Zach Schellinger. One more time, let's give all of our seniors a round of applause. Thank you. Couldn't even see where she was. Ready? Okay. At this time, we would like to recognize this year's Kiwanis Senior Student Athlete Award winners. This award is given to the most outstanding male and female student athletes based on performance in the classroom, community involvement, and athletic accomplishments. A panel of coaches and administrators from Utica College voted and selected the best suitable male and female. As I call your name, would you please come to the stage to accept your award? This year's Female Kiwanis Award winner is a senior on the UC women's basketball team, Maggie Timone. Maggie is a communications arts major here at Utica. She was the Student Athlete Advisory Committee president and an Empire President's List All Academic Award winner. She was also named for the Empire 8 Sportswoman of the Year for the women's basketball program. Off the court, she is a Utica College peer tutor, an admissions student ambassador, and she's also involved in student government. The 2018 Kiwanis Senior Student Athlete Male Award winner is Dalton Carter of the UC men's hockey team. Dalton is a business economics major here at UC. He was the first defenseman in program history to be named All-American First Team, and he was also an All-USCHO Second Team selection. He was a two-time All-Conference pick and finished his senior season ranked 12th nationally with an average of 1.5 points per game. Dalton is the top-scoring defenseman in program history and recently helped guide the Pioneers to their first conference tournament title in program history. Tonight's second award presentation is also the athletic department's newest award. The Greg Roberts Senior Athlete Award was endowed in 2014 in honor of Greg Roberts, a longtime Utica College athletic department employee who passed away in 2013. The Greg Roberts Award is given annually to a male and female senior student athlete that best exemplifies what Greg Roberts stood for: hard work, unselfishness, loyalty, and passion for Utica College athletics. At this time, I would like to bring Greg's wife to the stage to help out hand out the 5th annual Greg Roberts Awards. Now, a panel of coaches and administrators selected 2 student athletes for the Greg Roberts Award. When I announce your name, please would you step forward to accept your award. This year's female Greg Roberts Award winner was a 2-sport athlete at Utica College on the field hockey and softball teams, Samantha Whitehouse. Samantha helped the field hockey program to an Empire 8 championship and was an NCAA tournament appearance as a goalie in the orange and blue. She will graduate ranked second all-time in career saves, fourth all-time in save percentage, fourth all-time in career wins, and tied for third all-time in shutouts. She was also an Empire 8 President's List All-Academic Selection and a captain on the UC softball team. Now, the male award winner for the Greg Roberts Award is men's basketball student athlete Ivan Eton. Ivan will graduate with a degree in biology. He was a two-time D3Hoops.com All-Region Selection and a two-time Empire 8 Conference Defensive Player of the Year. He was an NABC All-District East second team pick and a two-time Empire 8 All-Conference first team selection. He finished his career ranked 5th on the college's all-time scoring list, second all-time in career blocks, and third all-time with 804 career rebounds. At this time, we would like to honor the 2018 Richard Dick Miller Award recipients. Now, since 1987, the Dick Miller Award has been presented annually to deserving male and female student athletes. Recipients are chosen by a panel of coaches and administrators on the basis of demonstrated character, community involvement, and athletic accomplishments. These athletes represent what Dick Miller stood for: courage, perseverance, integrity, and the spirit of competition. This year, 2 student athletes will be honored as the Dick Miller Award winners. And again, as I announce your name, would you please come forward to accept the award? This year's first female award winner is senior therapeutic recreation major Phoebe King of the women's swimming team. Phoebe is a two-time Empire 8 All-Conference selection. She's the reigning Empire 8 champion and school record holder for the 200 freestyle, and she was also an Empire 8 Sportswoman of the Year selection. Phoebe will also graduate as the school record holder in the 200 individual medley. The male recipient of the Dick Miller Award is senior two-sport athlete Nicodemus Gamble of the UC track and field and football teams. Nicodemus will graduate with a degree in wellness and adventure education. On the track, Nicodemus was one of the fastest men in all of Division III. He was a 4-time NCAA Division III All-American and an 8-time national qualifier over the course of his sprinting career at Utica. He's a 12-time Empire 8 Conference champion and helped guide Utica to 2 consecutive Empire 8 Conference outdoor track and field team championships. And oh, by the way, on the football field, he was named 2016 D3Football.com All-East Region 3rd team selection as a kick returner. He was also an all-conference pick for the football program. Congratulations. And now for tonight's final Senior Student Athlete Award. The Jim Doc Spartano Outstanding Senior Athlete Award was established 7 years ago to recognize senior athletes who have consistently exhibited the educational goals of Utica College: teamwork, leadership, loyalty, perseverance, and sportsmanship. The goals are the foundation on which Jim Spartano and his Hall of Fame career as an athletic director and coach at UC. At this time, could we please have, well, he's already snuck up here if you noticed. The selection committee has chosen 2 individuals as recipients of this award, and as I announce your name again, please come forward to accept it. This year's Jim Spartano Female Award winner is McKenna Cooley of the UC Women's Cross Country and Track and Field teams. McKenna was a 3-time Empire 8 All-Conference selection in cross country and track and field. She was a Coaches Association All-Academic Team pick for having a GPA of 3.3 or better and finishing in the top 25% at cross-country regionals. She helped Utica to its first Empire 8 cross-country championship after placing second in the individual race at the 2017 E8 Championships. She was also an Empire 8 President's List All-Academic Selection and a cross-country Sportswoman of the Year pick. The male award recipient of the Jim Spartano Award is Men's Hockey All-American Roman Amorato. Roman was an All-American first-team selection this season after setting a new program record for goals in a single season. He was an All-USCHO selection, and he was named the 2018 United Collegiate Hockey Conference Player of the Year. Roman was a two-time All-Conference selection and helped the Pioneers win the 2018 conference tournament title. Following his collegiate career, he immediately entered the professional ranks and has played 12 games, scoring 11 points for the Tulsa Oilers of the East Coast Hockey League. And again, please, let's give all of our award winners one more round of applause. At this point, I'd like to welcome back to the stage Mikhail Bushinsky, a senior of the men's hockey team. He will give the keynote remarks on behalf of the graduating senior class.
All right, good evening, everyone. I want to start by congratulating our Hall of Fame inductees tonight on behalf of my peers. Our 05-06 men's basketball team, Shelby Barbet, Mick Krajacek, and of course, Dr. Todd Hutton. Thank you for your commitment and contribution to the college and our athletic programs, and for paving the way for us current student athletes to enjoy such an exciting, rewarding, and truly unique experience here at Utica College. So, I'm not from around here, but Utica College and this area has really become a home to me. I grew up in Minnesota, and I really didn't know anything about New York, let alone Utica, New York. But eventually, Coach Ian reaches out to me and gives me the pitch on Utica College. I loved it, and I committed without a visit, sight unseen. Upon arrival, I was really blown away by so many awesome things I had access to and got to experience as both a student and an athlete at UC. If anyone's been to the Odd for a sold-out game, I mean, it's incredible. Support from professors, whether it's having dinner or help in the classroom, working in the community with Make-A-Wish kids like Brendan Kroll or Seth Wilson. All these things are incredible parts of my experience here. What I want to talk about tonight is what truly makes the experience here different, what separates our experience from others. And I don't mean what differentiates all of our experiences from non-student athletes. We're all very aware of those. The time commitment, stricter rules, camaraderie with teammates, commitment to a larger goal. These are all things that we understand and will serve us well as we continue our paths forward. But I specifically want to talk about what differentiates our time here at Utica College from other athletic experiences. When I was offered the opportunity for the speech, I was honored and excited because I feel that I can really comment on the uniqueness of the Utica College experience. I did some counting, and from the time I was 18 until now, I've played for 6 different teams in Faribault, Minnesota, Fresno, California, Kalamazoo, Michigan, Kenai, Alaska, Knoxville, Tennessee, and of course, Utica, New York. I don't know if they use this term in other sports, but in hockey, I'm often derogatorily referred to as a suitcase because I never stick in one place for too long. However, these experiences have given me a great perspective on what differentiates the UC athletic experience and truly what elevates our experience above others out there. And it really isn't anything drastic or big. On the contrary, I think what actually differentiates the Utica College athletic experience is the small stuff. It's the details, the little things. I think that Utica College builds our understanding of the importance and the meaning of little things in sports and in life. And I'll give you some examples of what I mean. During my sophomore season, Coach Ian called the team meeting early in the year. It wasn't supposed to be too serious, but we had a guy walk in late. And those types of little details, like punctuality, are very important to Coach Ian. Long story short, we ended up on the track at 5 a.m. the next morning for one of the worst punishment workouts I've ever seen. And I say seen because I was actually on crutches at the time and just showed up to watch. But it really was the only time that year I was actually thankful that I'd broken my hip in 2 places. I've witnessed numerous examples of detail-oriented approach around the entire athletic department during my time here. I think most of us, if not every one of us, has been through a Steve Dowd workout. The little things that he worries about during his workouts are crazy. The pace of your breath, the position of your chin, the speed of your lift, and all these other details. I've seen the football team work in the gym, and I've literally felt bad when they had to redo a grueling core circuit because someone's foot touched the ground or they didn't move to a new exercise in time. I don't see what goes on inside each locker room or bus or office, but there are so many examples that I can see from watching our teams play. The precision in an offensive formation, the form in a stroke, the spacing in defense. There are tons of examples. Utica College understands the importance of these things and what they mean for achieving success. And the little details really do play a large role in being successful. The fact is that the difference between winning and losing, between good and great, between success and failure, is so small. And the little things that Utica College teaches are often the difference maker. My team and I had the pleasure of winning the first ever postseason championship in the history of the hockey program this year. And you can ask any of those guys, what was the defining moment in that game? It wasn't a goal, it wasn't a save, it was a hit. And when it comes down to it, a gap. The little spacing between a defender and his opponent that set the tone for that game. The small detail of a defenseman's gap earned us a championship. And I think that's a perfect example of why a focus on the small details is such a defining characteristic of the Utica College athletic experience. And what's extremely exciting is that as we move on, whether pursuing a career in athletics or starting a new chapter, we can all take that attention to detail with us. An understanding of the importance of the little things is something we can take to a new job, a project, a business, or a task. And just as this attention to detail has differentiated and elevated our athletic experience here, it can differentiate and elevate each of us as we follow our paths through all of life's journeys. For me, the next chapter is law school at Yale University. And during my mid-students weekend there, I met a bunch of future classmates. And I talked with them, and it always came up, where do you go to school? They would all respond with these big name schools we've all heard of. They'd say Harvard, they'd say Northwestern, Oxford, UPenn, and the list goes on. And I couldn't help but smile when I told them where I went to school, Utica College. Some would pretend, quite obviously, like they were familiar with it. Others literally said, I've never heard of it. And this happened numerous times. But each time I actually felt a little jolt of confidence. Because from my experience here as a student athlete at Utica College, I think I understand the little things, the details, and how they contribute to success better than anyone I run into. Thank you to all the people who made our experience here possible, President Casamento and the rest of the administration, Dave Fontaine and the rest of the athletic department, our coaches, trainers, parents, and teammates. Congratulations again to the Hall of Fame inductees, and congratulations to all my fellow classmates for an outstanding career as a student athlete at Utica College. I wish you all the best, and may we continue to take pride in and excel in the small details. Thank you.
That was outstanding. It's now my pleasure to introduce the president of Utica College, Dr. Laura Casamento.
All right, Mick, I have to follow that. Some things are not fair. But good evening, everyone. I'm so pleased that all of you could be here tonight and celebrate the remarkable past and present of UC athletics. To our graduating senior athletes, congratulations and thank you for representing Utica College so well over these past 4 years. Mick, you articulated so wonderfully what the experience meant to you and your fellow athletes and how proud you were to wear Utica on the front of your jersey. I hope you know how proud we are of all of you. You have exemplified all that we expect from a UC student athlete. You have competed with integrity. You have embraced the values of teamwork and leadership. You have exhibited perseverance, selflessness, and loyalty. You've pushed yourselves and those around you to the outer limits of you and your abilities. In doing so, you brought pride and joy to all members of the UC community. And on a personal note, I cannot possibly express in words how much I'm going to miss watching all of you compete. I know I speak for many of you in the room when I say that. To our newest Pioneer Hall of Famers, Mick, Shelley, Todd, and the 2005-2006 men's basketball team, I welcome you into this highly selective circle with profound gratitude for your contributions to Utica College in and out of the playing arena. So I've got a little story to tell our former president, Todd Hutton. So you were around for 18 years. So President Hutton, President Hutton, President Hutton, you can imagine how difficult it was to make the switch to President Casamento. Anyway, I was introduced as you probably 3 times in my first year. But that's not the funniest part. When I was only on the job 4 weeks and I was helping move in our freshmen, I actually introduced myself as President Hutton. It just rolled right off the tongue. And then I stopped and said, yeah, I'm not going to correct that. It's okay. So the Utica College community is extraordinarily fortunate to have dedicated student athletes, coaches, and mentors whose drive to excel benefits not only a particular team, but the college as a whole. So I want to congratulate all of you on this well-deserved recognition, and go Pioneers. Thank you.
Thank you, President Casamento. As a final reminder, please join us immediately following tonight's event at the Pioneer Pub at the Strebel Student Center. We'll hold a post-event gathering to continue our great celebration tonight. This concludes our program for the evening. I want to thank all of you for participating for tonight's event, and please have a safe and enjoyable evening. God bless.